Okay, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you're having a great day. So, someone asked me to record a video on this, and as always, when you ask for a video, I make that video. So, the question was this: what are the things I look for in a product to kind of rule it in or rule it out in terms of if it's a potentially a good product, right? Now, I'm going to list out as many as I can think of in no particular order. I'm just going to list out what I like to see, right? So the first thing I like to see is I like to see a low number of search results generally, right? So I'm talking something less than 1,000 for the main search term. So the main search term would be, for example, I'm just looking at a television now. If I was looking to sell a television, which I'm not, um, Panasonic TV would be quite a broad search term, whereas TV would be the most simplistic search term that I could use, right? Like TV or television, right? That's where I'd like to see those low number of search results, right? So again, if you were looking for a bag, outdoor bag, or yeah, outdoor bag, say if we're looking for an outdoor bag would probably be the smallest search term or the most prominent or primary search term, whereas green outdoor bag would be going into a separate sub niche, which again is making it smaller and smaller. So I like to see that broad search term with a low number of search results. Now, sometimes there are more search results. If, for example, we're looking for a product that's a niche within a niche, or that search term we type it in, but there's a lot of other products being caught up with it. And that's fine, but I like to see under 1,000 if is possible. Not always, but I like to see it. Then what I like to see really is poor imagery. I don't like to see good images on the product. If I see poor images, I'm like, haha, okay, I can improve on this, right? Whereas if I see good images, I'm like, well, they are good. I'm just going to be good as well, but it's not going to be like a distinct advantage to me, right? The next thing I like to see is I like to see some sales volume. So what's really cool and what's come in recently is Amazon tells you exactly like kind of what products are selling. So you could see like 50 plus in the past month, 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000, whatever number of units sold in the past month. I like to see that. And depending on how many products are like direct competitors of mine, I like to see them all selling well, if possible. I like to see that consistent demand on them all. So if I see that, frequently bought, like 200 bought all that in the past month, that's great to see. When I go into the products, but obviously the less amount of competing products there are, the better, because obviously if there's good demand, there's only one or two sellers. I'm like, you know what, I'm definitely going to get some of this. If there's more than that, I'm still likely to get some, but I prefer when there's less competition, but sometimes it's just more, and there's nothing we can do about that, as long as there's sales. I can review the sales using the BSR data as well. I go into the listing, I like to see like that I can improve it in terms of like, the copy, the title, perhaps the pricing. I also like to see, is there good A plus content? Like, if I can make that better. Again, that kind of comes in with the imagery or not, but I'd like to improve the imagery. There's my clock banging. I got a fix recently. It's back chiming. You do miss it. I also like to see, if there's some way we can improve it on terms of the pricing. That is so important. I think, if we can make the pricing better, I'm pretty happy at that. Or if I can improve the item in terms of like, bonus items, that again is cool. One of the main things I like to see that I can do better is make a product FBA. So if I see a product that's selling, pretty well, like, 50, 100, 200 units per month, and it's currently FBM, I like to see that, can I make this FBA and actually, compete directly with this other listing, perhaps at the same price or maybe with a higher price, because when you change and launch an item that is FBA, you can charge more than FBM, and people are willing to pay more for an FBA offering versus an FBM. There's a lot of reasons for that, because faster shipping, they know if there's a problem they can send it back, and they pay for Prime, so they just want to take advantage of that Prime value. Okay. What else? I like to look at the reviews to see if there is something that perhaps could be improved in terms of the item. Um, or if they're just negative reviews, yeah, can I make the item better to avoid those negative reviews or address that? Because if I can do that over time and I get more positive reviews and I'm creating a better listing and I have better fulfillment, because I only recommend FBA, but you can do FBM sometimes, but generally 9 times out of 10 I'm going to say do FBA, just because we're trying to build a business that we don't need to work in all the time, we just work on. So if I can see something that can be improved, I can then build that into my offer, right? I think that's it. That's kind of the bulk of like how I think about my research. Like obviously there's probably things I do when I'm actively researching that I'm not sharing here because I'm not thinking of them, but I try and do that. I just try to always look for ways that I can improve the customer experience, because that's ultimately what Amazon wants as well. They want their customers to be happy. So I'm always trying to make sure that I can make a better product for a consumer. And that can be in terms of the fulfillment or in terms of the actual product, or just and to get that across, sometimes it's the listing has to be better, because that's the first touch point for the consumer once they're into the listing. That ultimately decides whether they're going to buy or not. Above the fold, so like the bullets, the imagery, the price, and the fulfillment. Like you get all that right in the title, that's where you're going to make your sales. So ultimately that's it. That's what I do. That's what goes through my head. That's how I decide if a product's worth pursuing or not. And like the reality is, folks, you might think there's not a lot of opportunity out there and it's all taken. And reality is, yeah, there's more taken now than there was 5 years ago. But like that saying that I always share in this channel, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the next best time is today. Like today is right now, this second, that is probably like the next best time for you to do this, like to get started. I'm not going to say like you become super wealthy or any of that. Like, these things, are directly correlated to the amount of work you put in. So if you put in the work, yes, you will make money, and you will potentially, you'll be able to quit your job and all that sort of stuff if you do this right. But if you don't do this right, that won't necessarily happen. But what I just shared with you is like a stepping stone to how to find those products that ultimately can help you become free of whatever's holding you back. But again, it all comes down to what the work you put in. Yeah. It's pretty good. I hope you find this video valuable. If you're interested in doing this for yourself and you want maybe to work with me or work with my team and just kind of start building this out, just go up to the link in the description, or down to the link in the description rather, and there's you can find different ways we can work together. If you like this video, please just hit the like button, maybe subscribe, and any questions, just leave them below in the comments. Really do appreciate them, and really glad you guys are getting value out of this. I've heard now from a few of you that you're really enjoying them, and that means a lot. All right, take care, folks, and talk soon.